Okay, okay, hey everyone, Dodge here again, continuing our trip through my Magic playing career, Rivals of Ixalan. This was a fun set, super great draft environment, maybe not the best, but lots of fun. Ascend was probably one of my favorite mechanics, and the flavor was great. It built on the story that had been established in Ixalan, and the whole thing was just so enjoyable. I really had a good time with it. Not a whole lot of stories for me to tell about playing with this set. The tribes were really cool. Drafting vampires all the time was great. Cards like Curious Obsession were amazing. Just seeing functional reprints of things like Curiosity, but getting upgraded a little bit with the +1/+1. It's just a nifty set that I enjoyed, just in general. And the tokens were amazing. Some really nice artwork on these. The foil tokens that the set had in it were fantastic. I think those were F&M promos or something like that. I'm not really sure. But I did enjoy it quite a lot. Sorry about the tone and everything right now. I'm just dealing with a lot of different shit. And, yeah, I thought maybe continuing the series, trying to get it finished and uploaded before the holiday would be a good idea. Also a good idea, Unstable. This was the first unset that I actually got to play. I wasn't playing during the first two. And this is maybe not my favorite draft environment, but this was easily in, like, my top 3, maybe my top 5, probably my top 3. This was just so much fun. It was such a well-designed set. It had so much going on, so many different things that would be phenomenal to see in black bordered Magic, like these guys, the augment creatures and the augment cards. I'm really hoping that we'll see more stuff like this in Ikoria, Behemoths of Ikoria, whatever that set's going to be called. Rolling die, always fun. Black bordered Magic flips coins. Silver bordered gets to roll die. Yeah, and just such a fun set, so funny and humorous. Now, I will say this, it's very possible that Ikoria is going to give us our first 3-sided Magic cards, as opposed to host and augment stuff, but it would be so cool to see these things show up in blackboard Magic. They're just a lot of fun. And while there isn't any real value in this set besides the lands, the foil lands, the tokens are phenomenal. I mean, look at the art on that. That's just one of the coolest fucking things. And I like that they gave you kind of a nifty back. I mean, this one's just the commander, sort of the promo thing, but still, the artwork is really cool. And they did make some tokens that have like a different back that's got some flavor to it. And these art for the swamp, all of the art for the full bordered lands, the borderless lands, whatever you want to call them, was just incredible. I really enjoyed drafting it. I wish I could draft it some more, but I opened, you know what, I think I still have a box left that is somewhere in Texas. I don't live in Texas anymore. I'm honestly kind of miffed because I think I might have lost or had stolen the rest of the sealed product I had in Texas. which was somewhere in the range of $10,000, $11,000 worth, including a bunch of Chaos Draft sets that I had made. Maybe one of these days I'll see that again, hopefully sooner than later. If not, we'll just build from the ground up again, I guess. Moving on to even more depressing notes than that was Iconic Masters. This was such a bad Masters set. I think this might have been the worst Masters set. You know, at least with Ultimate Masters, we had, like, the box toppers and some really, really cool fucking reprints. Iconic Masters was just boring. Not a fantastic draft environment. Didn't have a whole lot of cool reprints. Didn't really do much to get people hyped. I guess it got people really hyped really quick, and then very quickly that hype died down, especially with the way that Wizards of the Coast, oh hey look, River of Tears, and a foil Genesis Wave. That's pretty fucking nifty. You know, this set suffered from a really, really bad mishandling of the set itself. I should separate these real quick. Yeah, the set just was not handled well. You know, the promotion for it especially, not handled very well. But Iconic Masters was a cool foray into the Masters sets. It was a good idea, it just didn't end up being very good. Especially didn't end up being as good as it was hyped to be. Now we get to Ixalan, which, holy shit, this set was one of the coolest fucking things. Bringing dinosaurs into Magic outside of just like Allosaurus Rider and whatever other one or two dinosaurs, if any, we had at the time. Also, the Tribal Matters theme, seeing vampires in white because they're conquistadors, and that's a flavor win on so many levels. Pirates, all of the cool treasure effects. Legion Conquistador. This card was incredible in Limited. It's just great. It's a 2/2 Squadron Hawk for 3. Obviously no flying on it, but this set was an incredible draft format. I had so much fun with it. Pious Interdiction, if I could jam 6 of these in a deck, I would. Siren Storm Tamer very quickly became a card that was worth way too much money for an uncommon, but it did great work. And then we ended up getting a basically better Pithing Needle in Sorcerer's Spyglass. This card was a game changer for me, especially because I was playing a lot of mono red Prison in Legacy at the time, and you want your chalices to be set to 1, which means can't play Pithing Needle, but you can play Spyglass, and so I played a lot of Spyglasses. Next up, Hour of Devastation. Ugh, the finale to the Amonkhet storyline. I mean, there was so much build up, all of these sets. They really, really did a great job with the lore and with the whole Nicol Bolas storyline, from Kaladesh all the way up through Ixalan and Rivals, and finally ending in War of the Spark. The whole thing was just incredible. Hour of Devastation was one of those sets that excuse me. Hour of Devastation was one of those sets that just blew me out of the water. It was great. It was a flavor win. It was super fun to draft. Again, sorry if I'm talking like shit right now. Me no English good when me stressed. Razaketh. I don't think I ever opened this guy in Limited, and honestly, I think I'm okay with that, but this is just a cool fucking card. Just a tutor on a stick. It's an 8/8 for 8. It has flying, it has trample. It does all the things you want it to do for a black card. And then we had this, the whole Lazotep zombie thing, being able to bring stuff out of the graveyard, more so than we had just seen in Amonkhet. Again, super flavorful, a lot of flavor wins there. And hey, while we're talking about Amonkhet, and we're going back through Magic, let's open a pack of Amonkhet, shall we? So, this was super interesting. Embalm was a dope mechanic. I think I played more Sacred Cats than just about any other card in any other draft environment. Fanbearer as well. I drafted a lot of Orzhov in this set. Trespasser's Curse was cool. Final Reward was fine. God, I'm remembering so many things. Nygma Drake, this was one of those cards that I never really drafted, but I played a lot of in Constructed Cast Out. I'm playing this card right now in Blue-White Control in Pioneer. And I played this a lot in Blue-White Control, the Approach deck, when this was in Standard. Oh, hey, we got shiny Fetid Pools there. And it brought back more Full Art lands, which were also in Hour of Devastation. Gideon's Intervention, this was another card I played in the Control deck. There was just so much going on with this set. And it was just so much fun. I really enjoyed it. I really liked the flavor. Thought it was cool as shit. And it is cool as shit. It's a dope set. People should play more Amonkhet. If you have a box, draft it. It's phenomenal. It's so much fun. Aether Revolt. More flavor wins here. Not a set I was a big fan of when it comes to Limited, though. It did do some great things for Constructed. Added a lot of fun cards into Standard. This was around... Sorry about that. This was around the time I think I was playing like some sort of blue-black deck. I know I was playing Yanni's Expertise. I was also trying out the Carrie Zev's Expertise Boom Bust deck before the rules change hit that. Reservoir Walker foil and a Heroic Intervention, which this card I spec'd on, and I sold out before I should have because this card's worth way more than it was at the time. But man, this card was like 50 cents for a while, and I was trading for every spare copy I could find, and I think I ended up still doing pretty well on that. Not too shabby, but it was great. Not as good as Kaladesh. I don't think Aether Revolt was as good as Kaladesh, but they were both fine. I think Kaladesh by itself was just a better draft environment. I'm going to talk a lot about draft. That's my favorite way to play. That's probably my best format, even though I'm not as good as I would like to think I am. Let's talk about Night Market Lookout for a second. I'm pretty sure that this card by itself was pretty much the reason that Smuggler's Copter was banned from Pioneer recently. I mean, when this stupid fucking thing is the premier black card for an entire format because of Smuggler's Copter, something's gotta go. And let's be honest, they're never gonna ban fucking Night Market Lookout. Puzzle Knots. Puzzle Knots were cool. I love seeing neat cycles like this. And these things I think are one of my absolute favorite. More so than the Key Runes. More so than Clue Stones. I think the Puzzle Knots really, really just hit a design space and a place when it comes to lore and all the good stuff that we love about Magic that isn't just playing Magic. I think the Puzzle Knots were like a 10 out of 10 as far as all that goes, and I hope that we see something similar to this come back soon, because I can't get enough of it. Just reprint Puzzle Knots, Wizards. If anybody at Wizards that's making those decisions is watching this, just reprint Puzzle Knots. They're super fucking cool. I think they're the greatest when it comes to like common cycles of weird rock type effects. Ceremonies Rejection. This was another kind of cornerstone card that ended up everywhere. It blanks artifacts, and more importantly, it blanks Eldrazi, which were kind of just all over the place at the time. Here's Ovia. Let's talk about the sweet little old lady. I wanted desperately for her and Mox Amber and that whole, like, green ramp artifact strategy to be good. It wasn't. But it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. Even though I lost... let's just go out on a limb and say, like, all of the games that I played with it. But it was a cool idea. Now, I do have a fun story to tell about Modern Masters 2017. When I decided to start working for myself, I decided to quit bartending. I was going to focus on playing Magic and writing and painting and doing all the creative things that I love doing. And yeah, I was just sick of working for other people, and maybe that was a bad decision. I'm not the smartest guy, but I do have a good amount of ambition and a half-decent head on my shoulder. And I was talking to a friend, excuse me again, my buddy Jeff and I were on the phone with our friend Josh, and maybe Josh was there? Or he texted us? I'm having so much trouble recalling right now. Long story short, Josh's cousin was at a store in, like, Kansas or Kentucky or some shit. And this was while I was still in Houston. And the store was closing, and they were liquidating all of their boxes. Like, everything. All their product was getting liquidated. I ended up buying 8 boxes of this set for, I think I spent less than $900 on 8 boxes of this, and that was aside from a couple of, like, really good deals on singles I've gotten, like, you know, just some haphazard found a Chaos Orb in the bulk box type deals. That was probably the best buy that I've ever made in this game, and easily the best return on investment when it comes to sealed product that I've made. And this was also just a prime fucking set. This was incredible. We got the Zendikar fetch lands we printed. We got stuff like Snapcaster Mage, Phantasmal Image, Sundering Growth. Look at that. Nobody gives a shit about Sundering Growth. Phantasmal Image, but stuff like this, things that really needed to be reprinted, not just for Modern, but mostly for Modern, because a lot of these reprint sets, the Master sets, have a tendency to, like, here's a bunch of Modern cards, but only in the sense that they're technically Modern legal. Really, people are picking them up for Commander and shit like that, but this one, Modern Masters 2017, knocked it out the fucking park. Best Master sets hands down. I don't think anybody can debate that. So last one for this video, Conspiracy Take the Crown. Another story here. I think the one and only Conspiracy 2 draft I did, I was in a pot of 4. And if I hadn't missed a trigger on one of my creatures, I would have won my pod. But I forgot that I had something that was like, when this dies or when another creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life, and I lost by a single life point, and that sucked. But these conspiracy sets, I've talked about this before, I think sets like this, these ancillary type products that are actually full booster sets and not just like a handful of whatever, you know, like Commander or something like that, or Dual Decks or some shit, whatever. I think these are the things that Wizards needs to print more of, because it opens the door for cool new design spaces, legacy cards, legacy mechanics, things like Monarch, that have kind of become just almost mainstays of the format. It gives Wizards a place to play around with that stuff that they can't really do in like a Modern Masters or Standard set. And it's just so much fun. You know, this is such a fun draft environment. And then things like this, like the actual conspiracy cards themselves, they're just interesting. You're not going to get that kind of stuff elsewhere outside of things like this, outside of things like unsets. You just don't see it. And I, for one, love to see that shit. So that's going to do it for this video. I'll be back with another one sooner than later, I'm sure. And as always, I appreciate y'all checking this out so much. Thank you. It means more than you can imagine, and I will see you guys in the next one. Or you'll see me, or you'll just see a playmat and my hands and some magic cards. Who knows?